Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we were planning a moon flyby with the moon flyby machine here. And we kind of messed it up last episode a little bit and had to abort it because I realized that we didn't have a reaction wheel. And of course we don't have any way to flow electricity to this thing either, so that could get a little interesting. We'll see what that ends up looking like. But for the time being, we want to make sure that we have Bob in this, not Bill. There we go. That's great. And otherwise, we should be pretty much ready to launch this. We need to do a moon flyby. So let's go ahead and launch it. And let's see what we've got. Should be completely capable of making a moon flyby. So with our SRB assisted takeoff, it should be completely okay. No issues whatsoever here. And we're going to be able to reset our experiments a number of times, of course. We'll throttle up, SAS on, and let's double check our staging before we take off here. So we've got our main liquid-fueled engine. We've got our two SRBs. The SRBs pop off once they have exhausted their fuel. Then the main engine and the primary booster here pops off, at which point stage 2 fires, our second stage engine. And then that detaches our drogue chute, our main chute, and then we never stage this, in theory. Okay, looks good. Let's take this on off here. Excellent. Pretty decent off the pad. And once we hit about 100 meters per second vertical is when we'll start our turn here, I think. Okay, so let's head on over here. Okay, that's maybe a little too aggressive. There we go. And let's just lock prograde for the moment. Now I'm watching our heading here. I want that to be right on 90 degrees. It's just kind of chilling for the moment. Yeah, that's fine. I want to check in on our thrust to weight. Okay, it's quite high. Oh, we are tumbling hard to the side like that. Why would that tumble have occurred? That's a little wild. And now we're just under control. That was very strange. I did nothing to have caused that. But, okay. I guess that's what we're doing. So I do want to pull us down a bit to correct that. That did cost us some fuel. But I think we should still have plenty to pull this off. After all, we're just doing a flyby. I'm not looking to enter orbit here. We probably could enter orbit, to be clear. But that's not what we're looking to do right now because we want to have a separate contract for that. So we're just going to continue to accelerate here. Our speed is going to be maybe a little low, but let's hop into orbital mode. There we go. Okay, so we can see our apoapsis height here levels off about there. It's not ideal. We're going to burn a little bit up to around that 80 kilometer mark. It's definitely not ideal to be burning this engine in atmosphere like this, but with that tumble, what are you going to do? But the tumble, I believe, is recoverable. So we're going to sit here for the moment. And at the apoapsis here, we are going to, of course, add a prograde maneuver to push ourselves into orbit. That's a little overshooting there. And the timing isn't exactly perfect, but it'll do for now. So you can see that it looks like this is going to take too much. Maybe that's the case. If so, we can just grab what we've got there and chalk it up primarily to the fact that I'm just thinking here. Yeah, I think that this is going to change substantially in a moment. Yes. Okay, so we're going to go into stability assist mode and position here. We need to start our burn now. So we're lacking a lot in our horizontal speed, right? Our first stage is still quite underpowered. We can definitely grab our mystery goo observation. and our material study. But I think it's pretty clear that this is not going to be a successful flyby of the moon at this point. A lot of that is due to the tumble. We lost a lot of delta V from that. And a lot of it is also due to just general nonsense. So I'm going to transfer this data up over here. We'll open up our service bay, and we'll also transfer that data up over here. Did that actually transfer? I'm not convinced. No, it did. It did. Okay, good. Okay, so we're just going to hang out here. This might give us enough science to get solar panels anyway. I was concerned about electricity flow on the way out to the moon. We can see here our electric charge isn't doing bad by any means at this point. But yeah, it's clear at this point that we need a little bit more oomph, and maybe not having that sideways tumble. That did burn off a lot of our speed. Like, we would have definitely had quite a lot more delta V. That probably cost us bare minimum of 200 delta V. Bare minimum. That said, 200 delta V is still not really ideal. So we can see here that we need to burn slightly prograde here. I'm going to get rid of this, and I want to just pull us up into orbit. There we go. That's in orbit, and we have enough delta V to get back. This is less delta V than we had in orbit previously. No doubt about that. We're going to have Bob EVA here, and he's going to head on back. And, of course, he is going to restore the Science Junior, open the service bay, and restore the Mystery Goo, which is on the far side, and we can't actually get there from here. So we're going to have to come up over this way. Restore that. There we go. We'll close that. And let's go ahead and grab our observations. Any moment now, material study. There you go. And we will transfer that data into... Actually, we can't do that. Escape to cancel that, because we need to have it come down here. Bob is going to need to collect the data and restore the Science Junior, and then collect the data and restore the Mystery Goo containment unit, because we want to store that in the re-entry module. Okay, so we're going to head on down here. And we're going to grab on. There we go. We're storing that here. And then we're going to grab our Mystery Goo observation and material study again. Like so. Just so that we have pretty much all of that. Now we'll flip around to retrograde. Does it matter where we do this burn? Honestly, not really. Let's go ahead and burn it now. Okay. So this is going to be a very shallow re-entry trajectory. Let's go ahead and ditch this stage. And let's warp. It's going to require quite a lot of warping. And we're going to try to do this as quick as we can. We know for a fact that we need to make some changes. That sideways tumble was really baffling to me. I have no idea what happened with that. I would have expected that the tumble would have been due to air pressure. And, like, the air pressure would have caused us to flip vertically, not sideways. And then it just recovered. I wonder if it was something weird with the SAS. I wasn't even touching the keyboard at the time when that happened. So I don't really have an explanation for that. But we can still make some upgrades to this craft. Unfortunately, our finances are getting slightly grim. But after this flight, we can see what we've got going on for that. We definitely need to get a moon flyby going. We can upgrade this rocket to use thumpers instead of hammers, and that should give us more delta V oomph on that first stage. That's primarily what we need, is more delta V on that first stage. If the first stage can deliver us virtually to orbit, then the second stage can definitely take us where we need to go. But we're just going to bring this on down. Now that we can lock retrograde, I'm not expecting substantial issues from this, and we're just going to come down at X4 speed. And that should be fine. We'll get a decent-ish amount of science from it as well, which will be good. As of this point, our periapsis height is now negative. So we're definitely coming in for a landing. We're not going to bounce out of the atmosphere or anything. Cool. So this is going to be no real problem, right? We should be fine. I'm hoping that we get enough to get solar panels out of this and don't have to worry about power, because I was definitely a little bit concerned about electric charge. That said, we're already at our part cap, so we'd have to upgrade the VAB, which we kind of don't have the funds to do right now. We are seeing some significant deceleration here, and that's great. Holding attitude reasonably successfully. And drogues out. SAS can go off now. We can actually crew report and temperature scan. We haven't been over the grasslands yet, apparently. I'm not going to EVA report at this time, but it looks like we're going to stay over the grasslands for a while, so we may be able to get our EVA report once we slow down a bit. Yes, we should be able to get that. That'll get us another decent chunk of science, which will be nice, for sure. Okay, our drogues will be deploying now. Cool, we're down to 32 meters per second. And our main chute will be deploying now. Cool. So let's go ahead and have Bob EVA here. He'll grab his EVA report. And there we go. Now we can physics warp down to the ground. 700 meters to go. Actually, that's the apoapsis height. Hilarious. 200 meters to go. And we're coming down in this nice patch of woods. I like it. So we did lose our heat shield there. That's not shocking. We landed in the grasslands, and I think at this point we are going to open up our service bay. Hilariously, our mystery goo unit seems to have been exploded. Huh. Well, we're going to reset our Science Junior, and we're going to grab some Science Junior data from here. Since that'll be slightly more valuable than that last one, we'll grab our atmospheric pressure scan, and we're going to just collect everything that we can. We'll grab our crew report, our temperature scan, and we'll have Bob EVA, grab his EVA report, hop back in, and at this point we can potentially have Bob actually let go here. And he'll just walk on over this way, collecting this data if he can. Actually, he'll just restore it. Conduct the material study. We'll keep that. Collect the data. Restore again. I'm a little sad that we can't do it with the mystery goo here, but that did get destroyed on impact. We will go ahead and conduct this again. And now Bob will just hop right in. Assuming he can. He's having some difficulties. You can do it, Bob. Maybe he can't. There we go. Managed to get in that time. So we'll go ahead and recover this. Fantastic. Now the question is, how much are we going to have gotten from that in terms of science? We can drop batteries in favor of solar panels. That would be, in my opinion, a worthwhile trade. So let's just go ahead and load this on up. You can do it, KSP. There we go. So we got 45.3 science out of that. Not too bad, but we need 90 science in order to get solar panels. That's unfortunate. We'll hop into the VAB and make some upgrades. So, we are definitely going to upgrade our hammers. We're going to upgrade those to be thumpers. There we go. And let's just move these on down like so. And then grab the place tool, and we'll place this to be about here. And then we'll put the nose cones back on and the struts. I don't really have an explanation for the sideways tumble still. I don't believe that this vehicle will perform the sideways tumble. I didn't believe that the last vehicle would either. So there we are. Awkwardness ensued there, no doubt about it. But we'll see how this ends up going. We definitely need to tune these down. We're currently at 2.17. Let's thrust limit that on down. Cool. There we go. And we'll burn these thumpers for a lot longer. So we'll try this again. I want to make sure that Bob is in here still, and he is. So that's good. And let's relaunch this. I don't have an explanation for what happened last time. Maybe we can say that there's like a hurricane gale force wind that came up that we didn't predict, and it caused the tumble. It was recoverable, but it cost us a lot of speed. Just upgrading to the thumpers, though, is going to do so much work for us here. Like, it's ridiculous just how much work these thumpers are going to add here. So let's go ahead and lift this on off with our SAS on. Throttle up. And off we go. This time, I'm sure, for a moon flyby. This time for sure. So we will start our turn here. I'm going to be a little less aggressive with it this time. There we go. We'll just drop this off here and lock to prograde for the time being. Cool. And how long do we have left in this tank here? We've got another 30 seconds of SRB burn. We can see we're already getting a lot of vertical speed. So our vertical speed is 350 meters per second, and we're starting to get a little bit of horizontal speed. We're going to need more. But right now we want to push up through as much of the atmosphere as we can. And just watch our delta V up here go up. Beautiful. So no tumble so far this time, although I do see we're at a 99-degree heading. SRBs are gone. Going to try to correct our heading a little bit here. And at this point, I do want to hop over to Stability Assist. Come on. There we go. And let's just try to hold it right about here. Let's flip over to Orbital mode. And we're just watching this pull our heading down ever so slightly. Cool. Now we can see we have plenty of altitude. So at this point, we are simply going to add a maneuver here. And we're going to attempt to circularize there. And this timing isn't exactly right. That's slightly better. Yeah, close enough. Okay, so we're going to head over to the horizon here. Cool. This is still going to take the vast majority of our delta V here. But I think we'll have enough left over. I think. Maybe? Boy, maybe not. I keep assuming that this is going to have enough with those thumpers, and I guess that's an improper assumption. Lesson learned on that one, but that's okay. So we start our burn here in about 15 seconds, right? So that's fine. We'll start this burn in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Cool. This whole thing will be burned in space now. Yeah, we're not going to have enough delta V in this second stage. Does Kopernicus change the values somewhat? Maybe. Because this is definitely less delta V than I'm used to having, I guess. So that's maybe a learning curve, if that's the case. No big deal. I'll just have to adjust my mental expectations because I do all this basically by gut. I would have expected this to be enough, but clearly I'm wrong about that. I mean, we did go very heavy vertical speed there. No doubt about that. Our horizontal speed needs to come up by quite a bit more. And I'm just going to hold on the maneuver node here. So, I mean, we're going to be able to go to, like, potentially in-space high. What is considered in-space high? That would get us more science, which would be nice. That's the KSpedia. That's not what I'm actually looking for. I know it says in here somewhere. In here, perhaps? Can you not be open? Thanks. Maybe not. Regardless, it doesn't really matter. So we'll have like 300 meters per second. My gut is that we need like 800 for the moon transfer. But we'll see what we've got here. Actually, let's just burn pure prograde at this point. This is irrelevant. Cool. Okay, so that's in orbit there. We've got about 300 meters per second. So to get out to the moon, I fully expect us to not be able to do this. Yeah. As I thought, about 800 to 850. It's possible that the delta V numbers have been tweaked slightly by some mod that I have on that I'm not used to. So we would want to have a flyby that would be, you know, kind of like this. That would give us a free return trajectory, right? And we would end up just timing that to be something kind of like this. We'd have a free return trajectory there. That would cost us 817 meters per second. Now, we can't actually do that. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to burn our apoapsis up as high as we can, while still retaining enough delta V to return. So we're going to take this up to about 300 kilometers. There we go. And obviously this isn't going to happen. We'll take this up to about 300 kilometers, and we can grab our last in-space near observations here. Those are fine. And we will just collect all of that. Beautiful. And then we'll have Bob EVA. And he will, of course, roll around on the surface of the rocket a little bit, it seems, and then come out over this direction. Because we need to reset these. We do not need to rerun them at this time. We just need to restore them. Cool. And let's head back up and in. Perfect. So now we're going to warp around to around here. Just raising up on the apoapsis. Okay, so that was in space near the Highlands, but here we go. Here's in space near. Or rather, in space high. That's exactly what we wanted. So we'll have Bob EVA. And then we'll grab temperature scan, atmospheric pressure scan, mystery goo observation, materials study. And we'll need to reset all of that. So collect all of that data. How far to apoapsis here? We're 7 minutes to apoapsis, so we've got time. We will let go. And we'll need to, of course, reset these. If I can get Bob under control here. There we go. Cool. So we'll restore that and restore the mystery goo containment unit. We'll conduct the material study and observe the mystery goo. We'll keep both of those. We'll collect that data. Restore them again. Perfect. Close the service bay. And we'll head on down. So we'll grab on here and board. Apparently we can't board from there. We can board from there. And then we can run these one more time. So that gets us basically all of our data from in space near. And then we can hop over to retrograde. Once we hit the apoapsis, we can burn slightly retrograde, bringing this down to around 30 kilometers. There we go. And we'll just warp over towards that. Cool. We'll warp in a little bit closer. And that's basically all of our in-space high science. So that is perfect. We'll burn off that speed. Something along the lines of this. Okay. So 30 kilometer periapsis. Now we can warp over to here. It will automatically stop our warp when we enter the atmosphere. We don't actually have to close these doors, but I will do it. So we got a little bit further there, for sure. But it's very clear at this point that we need more oomph in this upper stage. So that's fine. Let's go ahead and physics warp forward. And we've got a little bit more fuel in this, but I'm going to try to save a little bit of money here. We'll see how successful that ends up being. Okay. This one is the one that we'd want to let go if we needed to. Okay, I'm going to take us off of physics warp for the moment, because we're really cruising. And we're coming on in at a relatively high velocity. Our periapsis height is going to hit 0 shortly, but we are bleeding off a lot of speed here. We've only got 56 meters per second in this tank, so that's not particularly a huge amount. But we are now well below orbital speed, or, well, yeah, we're below orbital speed at this time. Not necessarily well below. But this is seeming pretty okay. Not even seeing any heat gauges on this engine, which is kind of insane. Cool. Going to be hitting 30 kilometers here in a moment. Actually, we can go to radar terrain mode. And there we go. 30 kilometers. I'm going to burn off all of this delta V right now. There we go. Just a small re-entry burn there. Not that we had much to burn. And at this point, our speed isn't so bad. We're going at about 1,500 meters per second. It's all looking good. This is completely controlled. And I am glad that we managed to get that science high. At least we're getting something out of this particular flight. But it's clear that we need to overhaul this vehicle if we want to really get that moon flyby. So let's go ahead and physics warp. Cool. We're through the dangerous portion. Drogues out. And main out. Fantastic. And down we go. So we're still cruising pretty quickly here. No doubt about that one. Unfortunate a bit that we're coming down at night. YouTube kind of butchers the night visuals in this game, which is why I'm running a bit of an ambient light boost. But it'll be fine. Cool. So we're going down at about 10 meters per second. With the soft splashdown, that should be enough to keep this Terrier alive. So that's good. Okay. And splashdown, here we come. There we go. And we'll tip on over. And we'll recover that. It should be a good amount of science, but it's very clear to me that we really do need to overhaul this rocket. We've been getting good science, but we've not been getting fantastic contract completion. So let's hop over real quick here to the mission control, because it's very clear that we need a cache infusion. So we did get 116 science out of that. That's nice. Anything good here at all? Sadly, no. Really isn't good. Okay, so we'll hop into the R&D here. We definitely want to grab electrics for photovoltaic panels. That's for sure. And then beyond that, we could also, in theory, grab heavy rocketry or propulsion systems. Which would we want most likely here? Almost certainly not any of these at this time. I think we'll take heavy rocketry. Not that we're really going to be able to utilize that at this time, but that's okay. So the upgrade for the VAB, 225,000. So we need to be more economical with our parts here. That is clear. So I want to extend this out to a T800, which is slightly insane for the record. But I want to double the amount of fuel in this stage. I want to also come on into this service bay and drop these batteries. We no longer need the batteries. That's for sure. We can instead run a single photovoltaic panel, possibly like here. We'll have to make sure that that's sunward, but that's okay. And our electric charge, we've got 50 of it, so it should be okay. Reasonably okay. So that puts us at 29 out of 30 parts. We can get an additional part on here. Now, what would we want? Ideally, more fuel in this stage. I am willing to bet that this is altogether too heavy. Let's see. If we were to unthrust limit these, 1.79 off the pad? Maybe. Maybe. We can run tests on this next episode, though. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode we'll see. I'm concerned about the aerodynamics of this long boy, and I'm also concerned about the power of this first stage after the SRBs come off. We'll see how that goes. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, JJ Gamer, ALS Gamer, Kentuin, Atala, Shadow Wolf, Jens Graham, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Kadra, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.